Quick video today because I wasn't planning on recording this, but there is a surprise secret lair drop today at 12 p.m. Eastern, so it's about an hour from the time this video gets uploaded, give or take, and it actually looks like it might not be a terrible one. So this is going to be two Chaos Vault drops that are related to the new Edge of Eternity's precons, so they're like designed to work, I guess, in tandem with those. So we'll take a quick look at them. I just kind of wanted to look at the actual contents within and see whether or not there was any value within them from an ordering perspective and talk about the different offerings. So we're going to hop right into it. There are two new secret lair drops in total with a few different variations. So there is the Alien Auroras, and then there is featuring Deathburger. So these are the two that we're working with. Now, just to get this established, there are a couple of different bundle options here. If you're interested in getting the Commander deck itself, you can buy the Galaxy Foil bundle and the Commander deck for $105, which isn't terrible. If the Commander deck's value is around $45 to $50 at MSRP, the Galaxy Foil is $60. You're technically saving $10 if you're buying them both. And then, of course, the regular non-Galaxy Foil one is $75. So you're looking at $50 for the deck, $25 for the lair, which is $5 cheaper. So if you don't have the deck and it's one you want to purchase, it's certainly not absolutely terrible. But I just wanted to point out that those exist before we look at the actual cards and contents within. Obviously, it's only worth it to buy the ones that come with the deck if you need the deck. If you don't, I wouldn't bother. So there's two of them here. We've got Alien Auroras, which is some awesome artwork here, and I'll kind of scroll down here a little bit to show you guys the actual card gallery. We've got Reprocess, which just awesome. The artwork on these is top tier. We've got Aggressive Mining. We've got Sylvan Safekeeper, just a really good card with some sick art. Crucible of Worlds, which is absolutely the big one in this drop here. And then we've got Zurin Orb, which, again, just 10 out of 10 on the artwork. These are all five of these look incredible in my opinion. And obviously, you know, that is subjective, but when you just kind of take a look at the actual offerings that they have here, this is pretty good. Now, from a value standpoint, it's pretty interesting to kind of break this down a little bit. So Zurin Orb's like $1. It's seen some increased demand lately because of this deck coming out, and it's obviously just a solid card for landfall combos and stuff. But it's definitely one that will have a premium for a special version. Obviously, Sylvan Safekeeper like $6 to $7, but also not terrible. Like, it's obviously, again, another card that is going to have that premium on it. Reprocess is like $4 or $5. It's only been printed twice, and the most recent one was Urza's Saga, so it's been a while. Not exactly like, you know, super commonly found, so it's definitely decent inclusion. Aggressive Mining only has one print as well, but it's like 50 cents. And then Crucible of Worlds was like $25 at the time of this this video. I think the last time Crucible of Worlds had been printed was in Double Masters 2022. I could be wrong on that, but I'm fairly certain that's the last one. So we're looking at a value, you know, for an estimate, if we're being kind of generous just in terms of like the cost versus, you know, the actual cheapest value of the cards. We're looking at somewhere around $35, $40, give or take. So it's not awful, especially if you're just buying like the non-foil or foil ones here. A lot of that comes down to whether or not you're going to need the cards and whether or not you want to pay the premium. The one thing I will mention in terms of the Galaxy Foil is last time they did a Galaxy Foil drop, it was it had a bunch of Commander staples in it. It was Arcane Signet, Lightning Greaves, Soul Ring, and another card. And that one is aged incredibly well. But it is also a bit more generically usable cards. Galaxy Foil is very popular. That secret lair has not been around for a while, so there's no guarantee that this would go the same way. Just wanted to kind of put that out there. I definitely think at $30, if you need the cards, it's not a terrible buy. At $60 for Galaxy Foil, that really has to be something that like you want and or are interested in. But I don't know that there's going to be a super cheap selection of the singles in Galaxy Foil because of that higher price premium there. I certainly think cards like Crucible of Worlds will definitely end up doing well for themselves over time, just because it's Galaxy Foil, it's incredible art, and it's a really popular card, so that's just sort of the way it goes. So, would I recommend this one? Well, if you need any of the cards, specifically Crucible of Worlds, it's definitely not a terrible pickup. Like I said, if you just get the non-foil one, the card's $25 right now at the cheapest, so you're paying $30 and you're getting that plus some other cards. Galaxy Foil really has to come down to you and your personal preference. It certainly could age well. There's a good chance that it will because there are some good cards included, but I don't feel confident enough to make that recommendation. That's something you need to kind of figure out your finances and figure out if that's something that you would be interested in grabbing. Now, the other one featuring Deathburger is definitely a little different with the aesthetic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not familiar with this artist, but apparently a lot of people are. These are really well drawn. It doesn't intrigue me as much as the other one does, but again, art is subjective, especially when it comes to a product like this, so my thoughts on it may not reflect other people's thoughts on it. But what I will say is, from a value perspective, it's definitely a little bit disappointing. It's not bad. Foundry Inspector is like less than $1 and widely accessible. Arcbound Ravager is like an $8 card at its cheapest. Definitely decent. You know, we like to see those kind of inclusions, and it could have a premium being in the secret lair here. Dance of the Manse is about 97 cents if I'm being generous, so we'll call it $1 for calculation purposes. Decent card for sure, and I could see where it would work fairly well within the pre-con it's meant to upgrade, but it's not selling me on the actual card. Goblin Engineer around $8 for its cheapest. Definitely a good card, super playable. Not a ton of prints, and definitely one of those cards that I could see carrying a premium specifically for the Galaxy Foil. But I mean, $8 even for the foil one is probably somewhere around 10 to 15. So what are we looking at here, you know, in terms of the potential value or return? And then Aethersworn Canonist, it was like 6 or 7. So we'll call it 7 just because I'm feeling generous today. We total the value of all that up, 15, 16, 23, 23.50. Versus a cost of $29.99, and then the foil Galaxy, of course, being $60. Now, I have to say, I don't know, like I said, I don't know enough about the artist, but if the artist does carry a premium, or there are a lot of fans of this artist, that could certainly do well for it over time. We've seen it happen with other Magic products, where there are artists who are very popular, and they end up, you know, their products do well. So that's something to consider, and you'd have to kind of like weigh those decisions. Do I recommend this from a value perspective? No. If you need any of these cards, you could buy them all individually for less than you would spend on the secret lair itself, not even counting shipping. And then, you know, Galaxy Foil wise, again, that's a big one that's going to come down to your preference, but again, it could age well considering some of these cards are very playable despite not being super valuable. So, you know, again, with the Galaxy Foil, you got to figure out your own finances and if you're okay with paying $60 for it. I'm going to say no, I'm not going to recommend this either on the non-foil though. I mean, if you like it, get it. The art is definitely nice. I can see where people would like it. But if from a long-term hold perspective, I don't feel confident about its value aging well. But then again, I'm usually wrong on some of these things, and it's very possible we could look back at this in like a year or two and be like, wow, what an idiot. So who knows? I can obviously only give this just based on early speculation. I don't have the ability to predict the future. But the one thing I will say is the Alien Auroras version is definitely much better than the other one. And if you're going to buy just one, I recommend that. If you're going to buy them in Galaxy Foil and you're like, I'm going to get one, I need to get some Galaxy Foils, this is definitely my recommended buy because Crucible of Worlds and the other sort of landfall staple cards should age very well. At least in theory. So we'll see how that shakes out. This goes live in about 40 minutes or so, and if you guys are interested, you can check out the Secret Lair website for it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below if you're going to pick it up or not. I will be skipping both of these, but I do like some of the cards and definitely think it's not a terribly constructed product, just not for me, and that's okay. If you don't like it, just skip it. You don't have to spend the money. Don't give in to the FOMO, especially these aren't new cards or anything, so if it's not for you, then just save your money and find something that you like. But thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.